friends, and welcome back to another video. It's been a while. I've missed you. I hope you're ready for a new tutorial. I've had a little bit of time off because my wrists have been giving me trouble, but I'm feeling pretty good today, so I want to do a dog sweater tutorial. I think now that winter is here, in my region we just had our first big snowfall. I think this is a great, easy little crochet project to keep your little pup warm. The great thing about this sweater, I'm just going to break it down for you before we get started, is that it comes in a couple of pieces, so you can build it according to the size of your dog. You don't have to follow exactly my instructions, you can just sort of follow the pattern shapes. But if you have a Chihuahua like me, someone who is maybe between 4 and 8 pounds, this should be okay for them. So let me just show you what I'm going to do. For the collar, we're going to be doing a basket weave stitch, one rectangle of basket weave stitch that makes it all the way around your dog's neck. So for Thunder is my Chihuahua. For Thunder, that's just about 9 inches. After that, we add a couple of ties. This is a really fun part where we just do a line of crochet out, a line of crochet in, do it twice, and then you've got these nice little ties. And from there we do an increase, and the increase goes until you meet their shoulders. So for Thunder, that increase goes all the way to 13 inches. For your dog, might be different. And at that point, this is an extra, so don't worry about that. Let's look at this side. After that, it's just straight on till morning. We just go straight down, and then we finish. And I added this cute little ruffle at the end just to add something a little bit more interesting around the finish. And then we make a little tie, a little rectangle. You can see the stripes go this way. We'll do a little rectangle, and then we'll sew it to the actual dog sweater. Put some buttons on there to make it cute. And then it goes right on like that. And the great thing about all those buttons is if your doggy needs it to be a little bit tighter, you can just pick a further down button and it's still going to work. For Thunder, I've been putting it for him on that one right there. So let's talk about supplies. For this project, you're going to need the regular stuff. You're going to need a crochet hook, scissors, and yarn. For yarn though, because I always leave this out, for this sweater I used merino style DK weight. I used 246 yards, and this is what I had left. So I would say one ball of yarn is going to get you the whole way there. 246 yards, so probably like 230 yards for a Chihuahua. That could change depending on how big your dog is. So Chihuahua size, one ball of yarn. For my crochet hook, I'm going to be using a 4.5 millimeter hook. You can use a different size because what we're doing is shapes. You're just adjusting the shapes. Okay, so that's out of the way. You can put these over here. And now the yarn I'm going to be using today is not the same yarn. So mine this time may come out a little bit different. It'll still be the same shape, same pattern. It just might look a little different because I'm using different colors, and this yarn is just slightly finer. This yarn was sent to me by Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. I thought these were some nice autumn colors. I know it's winter, but I'm not ready to start into the Christmas stuff yet, so autumn for now. Okay, so for the collar, I think I want to do, I think this should be enough for the collar. So I think I'm going to use this really nice burnt orange for the collar. So grab your supplies, maybe make a tea, because this will probably take us a little bit, and let's do it. Okay, so to get started, we are going to take our yarn and make a slip knot, and then we're going to make a chain. The length of the chain is going to be dependent on the circumference of your dog's neck. For Thunder, we know that he has a 9-inch, so we're going to give a little bit extra space. Add 1 inch to your chain. So I'm going to be chaining 10 inches of stitches. If your dog has a 12-inch neck, 13-inch chain. So let me just get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, All right, so at 46 stitches, I have 10 inches. If you can, try to remember to keep an even number of stitches, because the way we are going to be working our basket weave stitch is slightly different than a regular basket weave. So I've got 46 stitches. Now I'm going to work into the 4th stitch from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to work a double crochet into there. So 1, 2, 3. And from here I am just going to double crochet all the way across. And at the end of the row I'm going to chain 2 and turn. If you are new to crochet and you don't know how to do a double crochet, no worries, I have a tutorial for you. So I will link that down below so that you can become an expert double crocheter before you come back here and add a new stitch to your repertoire, a modified basket weave stitch. So one more time, for this first row, you want it to be 1 inch longer. Your chain, your starting chain should be 1 inch longer than the circumference of your dog's neck. And then you're going to double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. Keep your chain an even number. And then double crochet all the way across for the first row. I'm just going to make my way across here, and I will meet you back at the other end to show you what we're going to do next. All right, here I am at the last stitch. Just going to complete one more double crochet, and then I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and I'm going to turn the work. Pretty little strip of crochet. Now we're going to get started with the basket weave. So for that, we're going to be using front post double crochets and back post double crochets. We're going to start with a front post double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to insert the hook. Rather than inserting the hook into the top of the stitch as per normal, we're going to insert the hook behind this entire post. And then we're going to complete a double crochet. Let me bring you in closer so that you can see. Okay. So we're going to yarn over, insert the hook behind the whole double crochet from the previous row, yarn over, pull through, and from there you just complete a double crochet. And you can see that pulls the stitches forward, which is really cool. Next, we're going to do 2 back post double crochets. So a regular basket weave stitch is 4 front, 4 back. We're doing a modified, so we're doing 2 front, 2 back. For a back post double crochet, you yarn over, and then you insert your hook, you go behind the whole work, come up through the bottom of the work, and pull that double crochet from the previous row, the post, you pull that back, and then yarn over, pull through, and complete a double crochet. And that pulls it backwards, which gives this visual effect of a basket weave. It'll be a little bit more obvious as we go along, but there's a little example. Now I'm going to do 2 more front post double crochets. So again, we're pulling that whole previous double crochet post, we're pulling it forward and doing a double crochet. And we're doing 2 of those, pulling it forward, doing a double crochet. And then we're going to do 2 back post. If this is still really complicated, don't worry, I have a tutorial for you, and I will link that one as well. Also, check the iCards up in the corner. I'll have all of the tutorials that you need, all of the stitches that you need for this project. I'll have the tutorials up there. So from there, what we're going to do is front post 2, back post 2, front post 2, back post 2, and we're going to do that all the way across. The reason we added that extra inch in terms of the initial chain is because this stitch, this front post and back post, it squishes your fabric. So you can see already how it's like an accordion. It's just squishing itself in. It's pretty fun. I really like the texture. It's great for sleeves as well, for the cuffs of sleeves, or for a cowl, or probably the rim of a hat. This is a great stitch to know. So I do recommend checking that tutorial out if you've got time. Okay, and I'm just on my last 2 front post double crochets. And now that we're at the end of the row, what we're going to do is one more stitch. So we need a border stitch. This loop, this last loop, we're going to do 1 double crochet into there. And that's just going to keep our sides nice and straight. And then double crochet 1 and 2, chain stitch 1 and 2, and then we can turn the work. Isn't it pretty? Okay, next we're going to be following the same stitch but in the reverse. So on that first row we started with front post. On this row we're going to start with back post double crochet. Other than that, it's the exact same repeat. So 2 back post double crochet. Oops, where'd my yarn go? And then 2 front post double crochet. And we're going to repeat that all the way across. At the end of this row, you should be able to see some pretty cool, I want to say it almost looks like cables, like cable knit. But we're going to change that with the 3rd row. So for now, just follow that same pattern, front post double crochet for 2, back post double crochet for 2, all the way across. And I will meet you at the end. Just the last back post there. And then I'm going to do a double crochet in that last stitch, which was our chain 2 from the previous row. Again, that's just to keep our edges straight. And there we go. And then we're going to chain 2 again, 1 and 2. And we're going to flip it over. Isn't that pretty? You could just keep going like this. If you think this is cute, you could keep going as a cable, and that would look really cute as a little collar on a doggy sweater. But I'm making it a little extra cozy, a little extra warm for Thunder. Okay, so here's where we're going to be doing something just a little different. We're going to be flipping the stitch. What that means is, right here is a front post double crochet. Instead of that, we are going to reverse that and do a back post double crochet. Second stitch is a front post, so we're going to do a back post. And then these next stitches are back posts, so we are going to do front post double crochet. And we're going to do that reversal all the way across, and that's just going to swap the direction of those of the way in which the posts are pulled. So the front posts are going to get pulled back, making it look like they're woven underneath. And that's why it starts to look like a basket weave. I can't wait for you to see how cute this looks. I'll need one more row and then you'll be able to see the spectacular nature of the basket weave stitch. This is also a great stitch for washcloths, not in wool, I'm using wool, but if you got some nice, maybe some handicraft or cotton, this is great for that, because it's got all that texture, so it's a great washcloth. And I've used it before for the cuffs of sleeves, and I love that, that cardigan that I did that for. Anywho, I'm going to continue with this front post, back post double crochet row, and I will meet you when I get to the end. Also, if you are liking the video so far, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel out, and I mean, we're always growing here. We're trying to grow as strong and community-based as possible, so if you do leave a like, I would love if you leave a comment. Let me know something. What are you making? What are you working on? What's your favorite kind of thing to make? Do you crochet? Do you knit? Is this just a relaxing thing to watch while you're doing your homework? I want to know. So let me know in the comments. Oh, and subscribe, and subscribe. Always gotta plug. Subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking for Christmas gifts, check out my links in the description. I've got a Redbubble where I have tons of drawings that you can get on socks or on a t-shirt or on bedspreads. Very cute. And if you're looking for the gift for someone who watches Last Minute Laura, make them a patron. join my Patreon and support the channel's growth. All right, so I'm at the end of the row now. In that chain 2 from the end of the last row, I'm going to do a double crochet just to keep our ends straight, and then chain 2 and turn. And now you can start to see how these are pulled forward and then these are now getting pulled forward. So we're going to do another row where we are following the rules, I want to say. So the first 2 stitches here are front post, so we are going to start with 2 front post. And the next 2 stitches are back post, so we are going to do 2 back post. And we're going to do that all the way across, just like normal. And I will meet you at the end to show you what it's looking like at that point. Okay, so this is what it's looking after 4 rows. You can see it does have some fun texture going on. I really like it. So now this is the actual repeat for the whole collar. You can make it as wide or as short as you want. For me, I am going to add double this. So I'm going to end up with 8 rows of front post double crochet, back post double crochet with a flip every 2 rows. And that's going to leave us with a basket weave looking pattern. So I'm going to just zoom through that part because we went over the stitch, and you can go as many rows as you want, but I'm going to go for 4 more rows after this. I'll see you when I finish with that. Okay, so I ended up adding an additional 2 rows. I know I said I was only going to do 2. Just finish my last double crochet here. And the measurement for that is 9 by 3. So for Thunder the Chihuahua, 9 by 3 is going to be the size for his little collar. So what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to chain up 1 to get started. I'm going to turn it around, and then I'm going to single crochet across. But I'm not going to single crochet in the tops of the stitches. Rather, I'm going to single crochet in the large gaps between the stitches. And that's just gonna look nice, honestly. That's the truth. I just think it looks nice. So I'm gonna do that. Simple single crochet. Am I not in focus? Sorry about that. Simple single crochet all the way across. And at the end of this row, I am going to be changing colors. Okay, there we go. So now we are done with that single crochet row. Let me just find those last 2. Okay, and before we switch colors, we're going to do our ties. So for around the neck, you're going to have a tie that will hold it onto the collar. So for that, I'm going to do a chain stitch of, I think we'll do 15. 1, 2, and then I am going to skip the first chain, and then I'm going to single crochet into the second chain. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to slip stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch all the way back down. And that's just going to make a nice tight tie. It'll be easy to tie up. Alternatively, you could sew in a string of some sort, or a ribbon, or like lace of something, but might as well just crochet it. We're already here, right? All right, and at the bottom, once we get back to the beginning, we're going to be doing it again, but I'm going to switch colors at this point because I want one of the ties to be orange and I want one of the ties to be yellow. So I'm just going to finish that last slip stitch there, and then I'm going to start a single crochet, cut my yarn, and I am going to finish my single crochet with the yellow. We'll deal with weaving our ends in later. Actually, I'll finish with both. Even so, we'll deal with our ends later. There we go. So now I'm going to be using the yellow yarn, and I'm going to chain 20 again. 1, 2. Again, I'm going to skip the first stitch. I'm going to slip stitch into the second one, and then slip stitch all the way back down to the larger piece of fabric. And by the way, for those of you who are interested, I live on a mountain, and we got over 1 foot of snow, over 12 inches, over 30 centimeters of snow in one overnight / all day today period. My poor chickens, I had to have Alex put up an outdoor shelter for them so that they can at least come outside a little bit. They have no desire to come outside because there is so much snow. Luckily for them, I have lots of treats and toys for them to be playing with, so I brought them out a pumpkin to play with today. And then I am going to finish it off by single crocheting into that first stitch where we originally started. And now we've got 2 ties, 1 in each color, which I think is cute. You can do it in the same color, it doesn't really matter. So now we are on the actual body piece. What we're going to do to begin is we're going to just half double crochet. I guess I should, that is the first stitch, so for that one should be a half double. Excuse me, we're going to half double crochet for this. Reason being, it works up faster and it's denser. You're going to get a nice warm, cushy sweater out of it. And there we go. Then I'm just going to find my first stitch, and I'm going to half double crochet in my first stitch there. That's better. Then I'm going to just half double crochet across. Since we did that row of single crochet, it makes it a lot easier to pick where your stitches are going, and just half double crochet all the way across. At the end of the row, chain 1 and turn. Okay, and here we are at the last stitch of the row. Just last half double, and then I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And now it is time to start increasing. So that's going to bring this sweater out to be big enough to get around Thunder's shoulders. So for that, I'm going to start with 2 half double crochets in the first stitch and 2 half double crochets in the last stitch. Other than that, we're just going to half double crochet across as normal. Okay, and I'm coming up on the end of that row, and I'm just going to put 2 half double crochets into that first stitch. And then I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Ooh, now you can see the basket weave much better. Isn't that cute? Oh, it's going to look so cute. Okay, so for this next row, we're going to do a regular half double crochet row. No increases on this one. We're only doing increases on every other row. So if you've got a big dog, that may take a while to get the increase going as long as you need to get around the shoulders. You may have to increase every row in order to do that if you've got a really wide dog. Like an English bulldog, for example, you might need to increase every single row to get the angle that you need in order for it to actually fit your dog. Or if you've got a very narrow dog, like a whippet, you might only need to increase every third row. So for Thunder, every other row works perfectly. For most dog sweaters I've made for family and friends, every other row seems perfectly fine, but you can play with it. You can increase every third row, you can increase every row. It doesn't really matter as long as you're getting that angled shape as you move up. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. I'm about halfway through my increases at this point. So I still have, how many rows have I done? 4, 6, 8. So I'm probably going to do another 8 rows like this. I'm doing an increase every other row. I will show you the measurements of the widest part and how long the increases are once I finish, but I'm going to do that off camera because it's just the exact same thing that we did previously. Increase every other row only on the edges, so that means 2 half double crochets in the first stitch and the last stitch on one row, and then the next row just regular half double, and then the next row 2 increases, 2 half doubles on each side. So I'm just going to complete that now. And when I'm done with the increases, I will come back to show you what we are going to do next. Also, at the end of each row, don't forget to chain 1 and turn. Okay, so I finished my increases. I took a little break. I went to the chicken coop and I collected the eggs for today, and guess what? We got our first brown egg of the winter season. So we have 4 chickens that are like factory farmed that we rescued from a bad end, essentially, and they lay every single day, rain or shine. They are heavy layers because that's what they were bred for. Most of our other chickens are heritage breeds, so as the sunlight goes away, sorry if this is information you totally didn't come here for, but you're getting it now. These breeds stop laying eggs when there isn't enough sunlight because it takes 14 hours to produce an egg, 14 hours of sunlight. So this is a very happy thing. This means there's a possibility that I could see some colorful eggs coming into our egg basket in the coming days. I'm not sure 100%. It's either MJ or Clover's egg, but I thought that was kind of fun. Yay! As for the sweater, I finished the increases. Let's count the rows together. We have the 1 single crochet row, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so I did 12 rows with increases. That's 6 increases in there. And let me get my measuring tape. The widest point is 14 inches, and the amount of length is about 4 inches. So the entire project right now is 7 inches long, but that body piece is 4 inches. So it's at this point where we're going to be just going in a straight line. This spot also is going to be where our buttons are in the future and where we end up having that tie come around. So this is where I was considering doing a stripe in another color just to add a little more interest. So I think I'm going to switch back to that pretty orange. I still want to use this red. It's just so red. Not this video. We'll find something for something bright red. I don't know why I have such an aversion to red. Okay, so this last row is also an increase row, just so that you know. I'm going to clip my yarn there, and then I will grab the tail. That glorious orange. My older sister would love this color. I should say she loves this color. She's still here. Okay, and then finish there, and then I'm going to chain 1. And now I am going to do half double crochet in this color for about, I don't know, 2 inches, I think. I'll do 2 inches worth of straight. So let's see how many rows that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to do 6 rows straight half double crochet in this orange. Nothing special, nothing new, just half double crochet. And that is going to look really cute when we have a little belt that goes over it. So at this point, if you're making one as well, you'll do a chain stitch that is as long as you need in order to have that chain stitch wrap all the way around your doggy's belly, just behind their front feet, like their armpit area. You want to go under their arm. I'll just bring Thunder over here to make it a little bit easier. Excuse me, Mr. Beans. Can I borrow you for just a sec? Hey, CJ, you already have a sweater. So this is going to be a collar, and can you see? Okay, there we go. So this piece that we're using as the collar is actually going to be flipped back, kind of like a like a cool collar, you know? And then this red section where we've done our chain of 50, you want to bring it behind the armpit of your dog and then bring it all the way up. And the chain should be long enough to hit the middle of your dog's back. So you can see with it folded over, if I grab that chain, you don't have to go limp, silly. The chain makes its way to the middle of his back. Why are you so camera shy? Okay, that's all. So for the chain, basically, as wide as around your doggy's waist. There you go, mister. Oh, give me my yarn back. Thank you. All right, so now that we did that, we're going to, what are we gonna do? We're gonna half double crochet. We're gonna skip the first stitch. We're gonna half double crochet into the second stitch. And then we're gonna half double crochet all the way across, which is gonna be all of those chain stitches and the whole body of the dog sweater. Okay, and now that I made it back along, you can see the tie is a little bit thicker now. What we're gonna do is 6 rows total of this half double crochet in the orange. So 5 more rows, I'm gonna go all the way this way and then all the way this way. Bada bing, bada boom. We'll be done with the strap. So finish your 5 rows. If you've got a big dog and you need it to be a little bit more substantial, or if you've got a long dog like a greyhound or something, you can definitely go a few extra rows just to make that band nice and wide. It's totally up to you. If you've got a teeny tiny dog and you don't want the strap to be very big, you can just stop after 2 rows. But my size chart for Thunder, my Thunder, he is my size chart, has me making 6 rows total. So I will be back once I finish my 5 more rows, I suppose 4.5 more rows, and I will show you what it's looking like and what we're gonna do next. Okay, so here it is after 6 rows with that extra tie so that we can fold it over under Thunder's tummy. I'll let you know my measurements now. 23 inches, and that is 2 inches, and at the widest point it's at 14 inches. So now what I'm going to do is line that up to that 14-inch place, and I'm just gonna mark it so I know where to stop. There we go. I'm gonna do 6 or 7 inches more, just straight down. I'm not doing any curve back in, I'm just gonna go straight down for this sweater. So, and now I don't have my crochet hook, where did that go? Okay, so I'm going to switch back in to that gold color because it's cute and because I'm pretty much out of the orange, which is great. Always nice to win at Yarn Chicken. So I'm gonna do my last half double crochet and I'm gonna complete the half double crochet with the yellow yarn, or with both. No, just with the yellow. And I know it's like sacrilegious to tie the tails, but, or knots, having knots in your crochet. Oh no. All right, and then I'm going to chain 1, and now I'm just going to half double crochet across. Nothing fancy, nothing special, just a half double crochet across all the way to the end. Well, not all the way to the end, all the way to my stitch marker. And when I hit my stitch marker, I'm gonna turn around, crochet all the way back. And until I have another 6 inches on this fabric, I'm just gonna keep half double crocheting back and forth and back and forth. If you've got a bigger dog, you might have to crochet back and forth for a while longer. If your dog is shorter and chubbier than Thunder, then you might not have to go for 6 inches. So I'm just gonna do that I'll zoom through it, and from there I'll show you how we're going to add all of the finishings. So we still have to do a ruffle at the bottom, we have to add the button, we have to add the buttonhole, and we have to add an eyelet. So those are the things that are still left. But for now, I'm just going to zoom through these rows. Okay, so it's the next day now. I ran out of sunlight, so I had to stop. But I finished all of the body part, and now it's time for us to add the ruffles and the buttons and the finishing touches. So for the buttons, I'm kind of torn. We could go with black buttons or this sort of brownish red color, but I think the one that I like the most are these gold and black buttons. I have a million of these, so I thought it would be cute. We could do a whole bunch of them lined up like that, and I think that looks kind of cute. So I think I'm gonna go with those. I have other little bronze ones, and this was the other one I was thinking could be cute, this little cream colored one, but I think that the gold and black is probably our best bet. We're gonna do that second though. First, we have to add our ruffle to the bottom to make it extra cute. So, let me just get to the end here. Also, I pressed it last night when I finished. I pressed it on the iron under the steam. That's why it looks so pretty and flat. I'm not just some kind of expert or anything. Okay, so take out that last stitch, and I'm going to switch back to the orange. I went back into my stash and I found one more ball of orange yarn, so I am going to use that for the ruffle. I think that'll look cute. Just put those like that, and then I am going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and I'm going to turn. And for the ruffle, what we're going to do is 3 double crochets in every single stitch. 3 double crochets in every single stitch. Just a regular double crochet, nothing special this time, but we're going to put 3 of them in every stitch. And that is going to expand it out into this really cute little ruffle. And I'm going to do that all the way across, just like this, just basic double crochets. Just remember 3 in every stitch. If you do 2 in every stitch, the ruffle will be less ruffly. If you do 4 in every stitch, you'll get a more dramatic ruffle. You can try different numbers of stitches in each stitch, but 3 I find for this purpose is the perfect amount to make it look just ruffly enough. So in total, I don't think I did quite 6 inches. No, just about 5 inches in the gold. But from the edge of the body to the beginning of the neck is 10 inches. I guess I can pull that forward a little so you can see better. So that's 10 inches. And the little space here is 2 inches. Space here is about 4.5. So those are the measurements. And now we're going to get going on this ruffle. Since it's a simple stitch, just 3 double crochets in each stitch, I'm going to show you one time up close, and then I'm going to zoom through it. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, just like that. 1, 2, and 3, and we'll just repeat across. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the end of my ruffle row. I've just got a couple stitches left, and what I'm going to do next is finish the row off and then chain 2 and turn. Okay. Chain 1, chain 2. I'm going to turn the work. You can see that little ruffle now just by putting 3 stitches in each one. Now I'm going to go all the way across again, still with a double crochet, but I'm not going to do any more than 1 stitch in each stitch. So I'm not going to be doing any more expanding here. I'm just double crocheting across. And that's just going to kind of add a little bit of volume and body. And when you get to the end of this row of just plain straight old double crochets, you can secure off your yarn, and then we're going to get into making our buttonhole, securing our buttons, and doing some final finishing edges. Okay, so I just made it to the end. I'm gonna do 1 extra chain and I'm gonna cut my yarn. And that is a very close to finished doggy sweater. We need to do the edging stitches all the way around, and I want to do that first because that is where we're going to make our buttonhole, and then we're going to put the buttons on. So I want to do my edging back in the gold because I think that'll look nice coming around the orange. And I think where I'm gonna start is right here because I don't need to edge the collar at all. I'm just gonna start my edge stitches right along this side. So I'm going to put my hook in right where those ties are because I think it'll hide it well. And then I am going to be doing single crochets. I'm gonna do a little bit tight for my single crochets, or I'm gonna try to. So I'm going to start by bringing up a loop and doing 1 chain stitch, and then I'm going to drop the tail, which I made way too long. I'm going to just cut that. And then I am going to do single crochets all the way down. It'll be a little bit difficult on the sides just because they're not actually like meant for crocheting down, like you don't have a clear space to put your hook, but just do your best, put your hook in wherever, keep it equal. The number of stitches doesn't matter. This is just to outline your project, just so that it has that finished, wonderful feel. It'll be better in the wash, it'll be better over time in terms of stretching. It's just a good idea. Honestly, you don't have to do this, but it's nice to do. Especially if it's for a gift, it's nice to add the finishing touches. And I'm just going to do that all the way around. When I get to the ripply part, what did I call it before? Ruffle? The ruffle. When I get to the ruffle, I am going to go over with a single crochet, same as I'm doing for the sides here. I think that'll be cute, adding a little gold edging on that ruffle. A great thing about this as well is you don't have to weave in your ends because you can just use this finishing row or round to just cover up all your ends, and nobody needs to know. How would they know? Oh, maybe because the ends are red. Well, we'll see how it goes. So because it's 2 double crochets high, I'm going to take 4 single crochets to get up to that corner. And then in that first stitch, that corner stitch, I'm going to do 3 single crochets, and that is going to kind of bring me around the corner so that now I'll be working on the side with the ruffles. And now it's going to be really easy because this is an actual row, so it's very easy to see where you've got to put your hook. And then just crochet, single crochet across. Okay, so I made it all the way around. I've got that little single crochet edge all the way to the strap. I stopped at the strap so that we can do that together. And the first bit of the strap is the same as what we've been doing, just single crochet down that straight edge. It's when we get to the end of the strap that it's going to be some new stuff. Okay, so now that we're at the corner, we're gonna do something that's a little bit, I wanna say, it's not confusing, it's just pay attention for a sec. I'm gonna zoom you in so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm at the corner. I'm gonna do my last single crochet into that corner. Then I'm gonna do another single crochet into that corner, and that's bringing me around the corner so that now I can move this way. I'm going to single crochet across. Oops. To the other corner. But instead of putting 2 single crochets in that corner stitch, I'm just going to put 1 single crochet in there for now, in that corner stitch, and then I'm going to make a chain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That doesn't look long enough. 7, 8, 9. Let's see if that works. That works. Okay, so a chain of 9, and then I'm going to flip my little rectangle here, and I'm going to slip stitch that chain back into the side we were working. So I did 1, so there's 2 single crochets here, I single crocheted across, 1 single crochet in this corner, then I chained 9, or as long as your band is wide, and now I'm going to reattach that chain over on the corner that we've already worked. So I'm just going to slip stitch that together. Oops. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is single crochet over that chain. So I'm just going to do single crochets over that chain until I make it to the other side. It doesn't matter how many single crochets you do. I think I'll probably do 10. That way it's just a little bit tighter around the chain than the chain is long. I think that'll be good. I'll show you what that looks like. It thickens up that hole so that your button has some good security. Go. So now you can see it's a nice secured hole. Instead of just being a chain, you've got a lot of extra strength. And then to connect that stitch where we only put 1 single crochet, that's where we're going to reconnect, and we're going to reconnect with a single crochet. That way we're already working on the rest of the strap. And now you can just single crochet all the way down the other side of the strap. It's a little difficult because this underside here is actually the initial chain we used to make that strap. So it'll be a little bit of a tighter fit getting your hook in, but never fear, just keep your single crochet going. Now you can see we have this really cute little buttonhole. So now I'm just going to single crochet up this end, and I'm going to crochet all the way to here, and I will meet you back when I get to this point. Okay, we are in the home stretch now. The single crochet border is done all the way up to here. I cut my yarn because we don't need very much left for this last part. We just have to create a little space for these ties to tie in. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of chains, just maybe 5, but I'm going to do them the tight way, so you don't need your hook for this. Let me zoom you in to make it clear. So you just need to pull your loop, your working loop up, and then you'll put your working yarn through the loop, and then just pull it down tight. And do that 5 or 6 more times. You want to pull it tight. It technically is still a chain stitch, it's just a very tight one. If this looks difficult or complicated, you could also switch your crochet hook to a much smaller hook. This is just easy for me. And there we go. So now we've got this little little chain, nothing too crazy, wasn't too difficult. Maybe I have to go a little further. Just 2 more. And then what we're going to do is put it back on our hook and slip stitch into the stitch, the stitch you previously were working into. And then you'll just pull the loop through, 1 more chain, pull it off, and then you can cut it. And you're good to go. I moved my scissors between the last shot and this shot. Anyway, now there's a little loop here, you can see. And that way, when you're tying up the sweater, you can just tie it in that loop, and then it's a nice little loop there. So I'll weave that in a little while. Now it's time to put the buttons on. So I've zoomed out all the way so you can see the entirety. We're done with this. We are done with our crochet hook. I need a big sewing needle. Unfortunately, my yarn needle was unable, excuse me, to pass through the eye of my button. So I had to just get the biggest sewing needle I could find. So we know we need to have a button in the middle of the body piece, I should say. So I'm just going to put that there, and then we know we need it at the 7. And then I think it would probably be good, probably every 3 inches would be good for a button. Just, it's for decoration, most of them. Just a couple of them are going to be actually used. Now remember, this area is going to be covered by this because it's going to go underneath the dog and the button. This one's going to be the one we use. So you don't need that. So now I'm going to put on some buttons. I don't have any way to tell you that's going to make it way easier to put on. It's buttons. These ones are super simple. They just have 1 hole, which is great. And I'm just going to stitch them on. Okay, so that's actually, we finished. It only took us a long time, but that's okay. We've got these cute little ruffles, we've got these cute buttons, so I decided not to put one right by the buttonhole because when we put this on the dog, the buttonhole will go over a button, which will leave us with the perfect amount of buttons. It'll be buttons all the way around. Oh, it's perfect. Okay, so here is the final dog sweater. You can see it's got a nice little collar here. We've got a little hole for you to tie the collar up. This little bit folds back so that they're extra stylish. Oh, I love it. Okay, now let's see how it looks on Thunder. Thunder, turn around. Good boy. You want a treat? Wait. Well, that's it. There's the whole project, the dog sweater with the little ruffles. It's such a cute little design. I hope that you liked it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making it. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, I really hope that you'll subscribe. And if you like the video, leave a like and leave a comment what you want me to make next. I can make another dog sweater if that's what you fancy, or any other kind of thing. Just let me know. Again, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye!